Hey, how's it going? I'm Nick, and in this video I'm going to show you how to install a digital readout on your drill press. Now before we begin, I must apologize because this video is going to be a little bit of a temporal disaster. So in a moment we're going to jump in our time machine and go back about a year to the old garage and install this thing, and then we'll come back to the present and I'll show you how it works and my thoughts of it over about a year of using it. This is it. It's a Wixey drill press depth gauge. I bought this on Amazon. And it's got this DRO unit, which mounts rigidly to the head of the drill press. And it's got this slide, which actually moves up and down with the spindle. It also comes with a battery and a box of mounting hardware. This hose clamp is what will mount it to the stationary portion of the spindle. It's got some miscellaneous hardware. It also comes with a drill bit. I'm not sure if they intend for you to drill into the head of the drill press. It's got a few miscellaneous brackets, and that's about it. Let's see if we can rig this thing up. Did it come with instructions? It does come with instructions. The first step will be to mount this bracket to the quill of the drill press using this hose clamp. So something like that. I need to obviously rotate this so that it is perpendicular to the head of the drill press, I believe. I'm also going to rotate the hose clamp so that the tightening screw is at the back, just for aesthetic reasons. There we go. Yeah, something like that. So I guess one thing to watch out for is that this clamp might interfere with the head, the bottom of the head, so you need to lower it on the quill enough that it actually clears. So right about there is where I need it. Yeah, it looks like it'll work. Cool. So it has a little plastic isolator thing that goes on there. It doesn't really show what order the hardware goes in though. I'm assuming this piece goes on the back here. The screw goes through. A washer on the back. And the nut. Kind of wish that this screw came with a locking washer, but that's okay. Okay. So now if I hold this stationary, obviously the slide portion goes up and down, where the DRO should stay still. Now that's the next step, because we need to use a bracket to mount the DRO to the head of the drill press. First I'm just going to mark where I think this bracket should sit. Let's see, if at the lowest depth we're about there, That puts the DRO right about there. So for the maximum, yeah, I'll put it right there. That seems pretty good. I'll put it right there. So I'm gonna drill a hole right there and one right there. I don't know if that's perfectly straight, but I don't know if it matters. I'm going to swing this down out of the way while I drill these holes. Oh no! Okay, that's a hollow casting, apparently. Okay then, that was easy enough. So are these self-tapping screws? I guess they would be. Yep. It's time to add this bracket. I'm using a 9/32 socket to install this bracket here with these two supplied screws. Look at that. That's nice and sturdy. Okay, now making sure that this is parallel. I will use a 5/16 inch socket to loosen the nut on the back of the DRO because I need to attach it to this bracket. Problem. And one thing I've noticed is that it's a little bit crooked and it's interfering with the pulley cover on the top here, so I'm going to have to loosen the bottom one as well to make sure that's straight. One additional problem that I see with this is that I won't be able to open the pulley cover anymore, or as easily, because it won't be able to swing open without interfering with the top of this scale. So that's going to require some sort of a workaround. This is the problem I'm describing. If I wanted to open the cover, it now interferes with the top of that slide. Now all that's left is to install a battery and we can test it out. Oh. This just uses a CR2032 lithium battery. Actually, it's probably the same as those cheap digital calipers. Okay, so this is how the Wixey Digital Readout works. You've got an on-off switch right here, and immediately the absolute measurement comes up. You can change between inches and millimeters, just like that. And you can change between absolute and incremental with the press of a button as well. So now with incremental, you can see it reset to 0 there versus absolute. In absolute mode, you can also hold down the power button to reset that location to 0. So I bought this originally for countersinking a bunch of holes to make them all look uniform because this drill press does not have a depth stop. Really, I would still prefer to have a depth stop, but this definitely did make it easy to bring the quill down quickly to a little bit above what the target depth is, and then add a little bit of oil and bring it down to the finished depth to provide really nice, smooth countersinks. I don't really have a good way of testing the accuracy of this thing. However, I've done some rough measurements with calipers and it seems to be accurate enough. It really only has 1.5 decimal points because the 10th place is just 0 or 5. There's no incremental change in that. So it's definitely not a high precision tool, but for what I'm using for, it works great. It still works wonderfully, and the battery hasn't died yet, and I've actually used it quite a bit.